Guys, Bacooly coming at you. Hey, me and Jeff P might be doing a live stream here tomorrow. We're trying to work out a time, getting back and forth with each other. Sometimes it's kind of hard to get times together, but look for that. If we do that, it will be over on Jeff's channel. Jeff P, check him out. He's all about the sun simulator. He's the one that kind of broke all that information. He did a lot of research, and he's definitely the man to go to for that, plus multiple other things. Not to mention, he's just a great guy, guys. I mean, give him some support. Go show him some love. But anyway, the president here signed an executive order to help beef up our grid and protect us from EMPs. Notice I said EMP, not CME. But at the same time, it would protect us from CMEs, coronal mass ejections. It's basically the same thing as an electromagnetic pulse. Most people will get behind an EMP thing, not so much a CME, because they don't think that that's ever going to happen in their lifetime. Now, I tend to think that when all these media outlets pick this stuff up, that there's a whole lot more going on than what they're telling us. Okay? They don't start pushing this stuff unless they think something's going to happen, or unless they're going to generate their own issue. Okay? I'm not going to say it. It's an FF, is what I'm going to say. I don't want to get hit with, algorithm crap. That's why I can't say those words. It's stupid. But anyway, I just thought this was noteworthy. You guys go check it out. The order itself is really, really bunches and bunches of information. So, it's probably it's as thick as a book for sure. But this is something that's been needed and done here. Other countries have already done it. Russia, they've already did their preparing, basically building stuff inside the hills and the mountains in their country. And China, obviously, they have their ghost cities that have nobody in them. It's kind of weird. Very, very creepy, actually. It's like a End of Days type of movie that you would watch and where everybody disappears. Kind of like a Twilight Zone episode or something. But anyway, just going to just jump right in here, guys. First thing I'm going to do is I'll take you over space weather. Okay, I'm going to try to do this every video. If you guys look here, you got 476 is the solar wind speed. Okay, we talk about that all the time. It's obviously it is what it is. Solar wind speed, what that is elevated, should be right around 300. It's usually pretty normal, but that is elevated. Why is it elevated? Well, because there was a coronal hole that was Earth facing, and that always increases our solar winds. Just keep that in mind if you don't want to have to try to remember all this information. Just know when somebody says coronal hole, Earth facing, that means that the coronal hole stream is going to speed up. The wind speed is going to speed up from the sun. Cosmic winds, basically, is how you can think of it. Now, what's that do to the Earth and its magnetic field? Well, this right here is a KP index. All it does is rate. It puts a number on how strong a geomagnetic storm is actually being felt here on the Earth. Now, if it doesn't get above a 4 or a 5, it's nothing to even worry about. We don't really, you might start seeing a little bit of, satellite disruptions and small outages or what have you. But we got that CME the other day, and there was a lot of questions. Why didn't it, they actually predicted it to get up to like a 6 KP, maybe even a 7. Well, it didn't turn out to be that way. That's why it's called a prediction and not a fact. Okay? They're predicting it. They can do their best. Okay? Now, they could probably do better than what they let us know they can. I've been talking to some people here in the background. They can, pretty much tell you exactly down to the minute when this stuff is going to start happening and when it does. Again, this is a historic graph. In other words, it's not going to show you nothing past real time. So this is actually what happened. This graph is. So you can see it never got up above a 4. And again, anytime you see red on a graph, normally that means either high or more dangerous. So, we ain't got nothing to worry about. But you can see that we're higher now than we were during when that CME hit. and it's staying up. And the reason why is because of solar wind speed, like I just showed you guys. Okay, now look at this graph. Okay, this is predictive and historic. Okay, here's the 28th of March, here's the 4th of April, so it's kind of trying to tell you what it's going to be like. All right, the green line, guys, is where the Earth is at. We're standing right where the green line is. So it says plasma density, which other graphs for basic knowledge here, it's basically saying ion density kind of doubles for that. It's not exactly the same, but close. Anyway, you see how you get a little bump up right here on 28th, 29th, all right, of the density. Well, here's the velocity, solar wind speed at the Earth, the green line again. Oops. Throw that away. Anyway, sorry about that. Green line, Earth. Okay. Velocity goes up, speed, plasma density goes down. Density goes down, speed goes up. It's that way across the board. Okay. Just remember that. If the density goes up, the solar wind speed actually decreases. And I've explained this a bunch in the past. I'll continue to explain it, but this video is going to be long enough anyway. Stereo A, that's where we look at a lot, guys. We get a lot of our information from that satellite. That's what this red line is. That's the condition of the environment where the satellite is at. This is as if you were standing on the satellite. This is what you would be feeling. This red line. Okay? That's what you would be experiencing. Okay, stereo B, just don't even pay attention to it because they don't let us see any of that data anymore. Again, is it still working? They claim that it's not, but I don't know if I believe that. Okay, this is the same basically information I just gave you, but just in a different visual. And you guys can get to this space weather tab just by going over to planetxnews.org, scroll down, and it'll say space weather. It's a link. Click it and it takes you to this page. Okay, I'll leave a link to it. But you can see the solar wind speed is in yellow, and you can see the density is in orange. Just like I said a minute ago, speed goes up, density goes down. Now if the density went up, the speed would go down. So, but yeah. Now, get into my little spiel. Got this from Skip, Tucson, Arizona. Check this out. Very cool, isn't it? Halo. Look at the shape of the sun. And look at this. I'm going to call them chum trails, okay? Because if I call them the real name, the algorithm will get me. Anyway, there you go. Look at that. What's causing that, right? I don't know. Next pick, all I did was invert it. Again, you see the same thing. Big halo. Now this one, again, look at the shape of the sun. Then you start to see why I'm even showing you this, because of this right in here. How is that possible? Okay, every other Kim in the sky here, guys, I called it the wrong name. Chum in the sky is flattening out and spreading out and becoming a big haze, but this one's not. Okay, so that makes it different already. Okay, and then look at the shape of the sun. What's causing that? You know, maybe we can here, whatever. Anyway, sorry, but you can tell here, guys, there's a dead space there. I don't know what's causing it. Plus, look at the shadows that the chums are showing. All right, and I'm gonna zoom in here because this shows it really well. Yep, that's the one. Okay, you got your shadow right here, right? Well, if that wasn't a shadow, because I've heard people say, hey, that ain't no shadow, it's just this, or this. Okay, well then why does this trail, this chum trail, come up to here, stop at the shadow, and then reemerge on the other side with no shadow? You see that? The light source is over here. Okay, so it makes perfect sense. That is a shadow. Now, what would cause that? You know? That would mean that this would almost have to be at the same level, or at least reflective light coming off of whatever has to be stronger than the light source itself in order to have a shadow over here. Okay? And again, you know, I'm not going to talk much about that right now, but this is what I'm more concerned about right now. Okay, here's this. Why did it do this? Stop right there. Okay, well, if you look closer, you can see that you got some coming in here too, and they stop all at the same spot. What's causing all that? Well, you know, we have aircraft ourselves, even humans, that can go straight vertical. Okay, when I say go, I'm saying go up, not north, south, east, or west. I'm talking about increase elevation. Go straight up towards space. Okay, that's what's going on here, I think. And then look at this. I mean, what did the simulation system fail here? Because if there's a lens out in front of this, maybe this thing was trying to flip this direction to make it a full circle and it didn't make it. Is that what's going on here? I don't know. Okay, and I can zoom in here. You can tell that there is no aircraft in here, guys. Where'd it go? Because all those chum trails that come here stop right there. Every bit of them. Okay, so I don't know what's causing that. But again, there's another picture of that. Now I got this. Look at this. This is not the sun, guys. This is the moon. This came from Bob Fox in Ohio. Okay? Look at that. Plus a light source down here, a very dim light source, whatever that is. But my main thing here is, what the heck is this? Plus you're going to see like a cross, again, grid pattern stuff. Look at that. Okay, these are untouched. This is how I got them. And Bob told me that he didn't do anything to them. Okay? And you can kind of see a faint halo around the moon also. It was really hard to draw out because it was so faint. But again, look at this. I know it's hard to see, but it's there. Now all I did with this was I increased the contrast all the way up, and I started cutting it back until it started letting me get an image. This is what I got. So, you know, this is there. This isn't a camera anomaly. I don't know what's causing this. I'm not trying to say that there's something that big in our sky. But man, I don't know. If we're seeing something that big, it can't be like in our atmosphere. Because if it is, if it is like what we would call a planet or something, we wouldn't be standing here talking right now, guys, if something that big was in our atmosphere. Unless it was something some sort of technology we don't know about. But again, what the heck is that? There it is inverted. You can see this one really shows it really well as far as how it starts circling back around, that it is a sphere of some sort. Okay, and again, look at this. You see the little grid thing going on. Okay. You see it pretty good there. That's why I zoomed in. Don't worry about that. I don't know what that is. That could be something on the camera. It could be anything. Okay. Alright, then this is the other one. The light source here on the bottom got a little bit more intense. Might be the sun rising. It could be, I don't know, maybe city lights. I don't know. But again, you can see the grid here. And it is coming off of, you know, right down the middle of the moon here, which is what we see when we see the grids in front of the sun. Makes sense we'd see it in front of the moon too. Okay, look at that. Alright, then I got this from Dave, 27th. What we're looking at here are triangles in the clouds. Okay, triangle there. Triangle here. Okay, triangles everywhere. That's what I'm trying to say. You know, if that we tend to think that these might be aircraft making like hole punches in the clouds, but then you get this stuff. Okay, other triangles within triangles, and I mean, look at that. Oops. Okay, I mapped it out here for you a little bit. Triangles everywhere. Look at that one, and the other triangles are inside it. This came from the Mr. MBB3 from a couple months ago. I did a video on this. This is that space portal looking thing. What I want you guys to pay attention to is the shape of that. Okay, I'm only showing it to you because it just shows that this is reappearing. Okay, there this is edited. Ran it through some contrast and stuff. Okay, and then this is from today. This is his video from today. I'm not going to show you his video. I want you guys to go check it out. Mr. MBB3 does good work, guys. Great work. What we're looking at here, guys, is this is a blue sky, and this is supposed to be a chum trail. Okay, and they're trying to pass this off as one of our aircraft. Okay, does that just make you laugh? Man, that is not any kind of airplane I've ever seen. Now, like I said, keep in mind this shape. Okay, we've talked about Ezekiel's wheel, all those kinds of things that kind of come into play. But anybody that's been watching my channel for a while know that on the HI-2 satellite from SETI, okay, there was an object that showed up over here, the same exact shape. Okay, it traveled this direction, and then it deployed something that looked like a parachute. Okay, and then it kept traveling, and it traveled on off the screen. They called it the parachute bomb object or something. Nobody ever could figure out what that was. But it was on the satellite. Okay, it wasn't somebody's camera. So what does that mean? Well, I don't know. If it's out there in space and it was as big as what it was showing out there, this is definitely not as big. This would definitely be way smaller because this is in our atmosphere here. Okay? Not to mention, it's really, this is kind of odd the more I look at this because you see it kind of bend in and then kind of do one of them numbers. But this is showing movement this direction. Okay? And go watch Mr. MBB3's channel over there. Watch that video. I'll leave a link. It's a good video. It's awesome. Here it is again. Look at this. Don't get more pronounced than that, guys. I mean, wow, this was in Greece. This stuff's happening around the world. Keep in mind, guys, that this is showing movement because of this trail. It's going to come into play in here in a minute. Now, this came from Steve over at WSO. He did a good job on this video. Thanks, Steve. But this right here is the same objects, same shape. Okay. Now I'm going to zoom in. See that? Okay. Again, look. Got a trail behind it. It looks almost exactly like that. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. This is out in space. Here's where it gets crazy. Okay, obviously you guys are probably seeing this other one over here. Now, you start asking yourself, what the heck is going on? Now, if somebody's holding this camera, or if the spaceship, if it's mounted on a craft of some sort, if it jerked or whatever, everything on this thing would have some sort of light distortion going that direction. It would all be going the same direction. Okay, why am I saying that? Well, because this object here has got the trail. This one doesn't. So what does that say? It says that this one's moving. This one isn't. Okay? So, I mean, if this was on like a lens of some sort, like a water droplet on a lens or something like that, both of these would have that trail, is what I'm trying to say. Makes sense? Then, to add to it, this one up here, there's a couple of them here on this capture. Okay, then you got the trail moving this way, right? Well, again, if this was all on the same, taken from the same camera, how do you get a trail this direction and then you get a trail that direction? Two opposite directions. Doesn't work like that, guys. So, I mean, it just lends validity that something's here, guys. That's something we need to look at. So what I did here, and then I get this capture, okay? This was taken from a fisheye lens, okay? I'll just tell you that straight up. So all this rainbow stuff around the edge, just kind of ignore it, okay? Because it's kind of like looking at from a sky cam from one of the networks, like All Sky Cam. You see that quite often. Now look at this. It's the same shape again, guys. Could be a refraction. Looks like it could be a whole lot of things. I don't think it's a lens flare, because there's the lens flare. Okay, but it could be a refraction. I'm not saying it's not, but it is the same shape, so I don't know. And then you got to look at, I put all three of them together here. I mean, it's just kind of crazy, man. I don't know. Then I get this from Dave on the 27th. WTF, right? Well, what are we even looking at? You guys probably can't even see that, can you? Zoom in a little bit. See that starting to show up? Look at that. So, I zoomed in, and this is what I got. Didn't edit it in any way, just zoom. Okay? We see these triangle shapes in crafts all the time. And if they're, you know, if it was one craft or whatever, it'd be one thing. But these look like separate crafts. Okay? Then the next question is, a lot of people say, well, that's just camera stuff that we're seeing. You know, because it looks like a V or it looks like a right angle or what have you. Well, there's a problem here. Okay, you got this. Okay, yeah, it's a triangle or a V shape. Well, what's this? If this was a camera anomaly or part of the camera, that would be in line. It would be straight. It wouldn't be out of that line. See that? I mean, and there's a bunch of them that's not even in the right spot. Okay? Nobody really talks about that. And I think it's a valid point, because if it was something like a camera thing, that thing would just be what it was. It would look like this. That'd be it. You wouldn't see anything up here or down here. It just wouldn't work that way. Then I get this. Okay, this is from Tucson, Arizona. Thanks, Skip, buddy. You did an awesome job. If you don't have a channel, you need one. Okay, light. Okay, I worked in printing for 20 years, guys. All right, what's that mean? Well, we could dry ink on a food container like a Cool Whip bowl almost instantaneously. Okay, they would run at 600 parts a minute. When they came out the back of the machine, they were dry. We could pick them up and the ink would not come off. So it takes a very intense light source to do that. All right. Now, I can tell you this, just from my experience there, that the light source itself isn't what was drying the ink. That's not where you get your most powerful light. That's why I'm showing you these four corners here. That's where it's concentrated, right? Well, but then you see all this other stuff out here, right? Light's getting diffused is what we call it. Anybody that works in air handling knows what a diffuser is. It diffuses the air out in a broad area. That's what that's for. Okay? But you still have intense areas even with a diffuser. And they're usually at the corners, which is exactly what we're seeing here. Okay? Now, my printing experience, we had UV bulbs that cost $500 a piece. So yeah, you break one of those, you get in trouble, but you try to get the most life out of them. So what do you do when you start getting parts out the back of the machine that are wet or partly wet? You either change the bulb, or this is what we did in most cases, we adjusted because it had reflectors around it. We adjusted the reflectors. So what does that tell you? That tells you that the most intense heat and energy is coming off of the reflectors, not the light source itself. Okay? This is the basis. I mean, Jeff even talks about this when he talks about the sun simulation. about the lenses out in front. Well, this is part of that reason. This is part of the reason they do this. Because we get a lot of questions, well, how can it generate enough heat? It's just a light bulb. Well, if you take a light bulb and you put reflectors around it, that actually becomes, you can actually make the energy off the reflectors be stronger than the initial light source. It's crazy, but that's how it works. Okay, it's true. It's not just something that we're just throwing out there. That actually happens in printing. So it can apply in a grander scale here. So why am I even saying any of that? Well, you have a lens flare here right there. So that's what this is. This is what was sent to me. I didn't touch this picture at all. Okay, I just wanted to point out the diffusing here. And, you know, then you start looking at this square shape, which I'm going to go into here a little bit more. That's inverted. Okay, this is just, I think I took some brightness and contrast and messed with it a little bit. Okay, now if I zoom in here, look at this. Look at that. You can clearly see, guys, it's a square, number one. Okay, and again, the light sources are being pushed down into a more direct thing, a more directed, concentrated area coming off the corners here. But you still have energy coming out everywhere else. And that's how this thing can work. Alright, so, you know, is this like lenses stacked one on another? Now, when I was a kid, we would get baseball cards. And in those baseball card packs, you had those 3D cards. And what those were was basically a bunch of pictures, or the same picture, and they put basically a lens, like a grooved lens in front of it. And when you moved it, it gave you the appearance that whatever the picture was, like a pitcher, was throwing a ball or swinging a bat. Okay? So you can do those things. So if you can bend light and fool your eye like that, I mean, there you go. So, I mean, look at that. Anyway, I put this in this right here. I mean, that's just pretty cool if you ask me. This was the best one. I mean, one of my friends tell me it looked like a diamond ring, and it's the same principle, guys. You get more reflected light the way you cut a diamond. That's why they cut them in certain shapes. Okay. This was sent to me over by Scott over Planet X News. I mean, look at that. Oh, and again, the planetxnews.org website. Go over there, and that's where I got to the space weather. There's a link over there, and it's got good articles and stuff he writes. And he's trying a new platform called Subscribestar. Guys, go check it out over there. It's pretty cool. You guys, it basically gets rid of the trolls and stuff, because it's like you got to subscribe to it. I'm not sure what. I think it's $10 a month, I think, or something like that. But then you get all of his content and all the other things. You don't have to worry about any of the other BS that goes along with it. But anyway, look at that square again. I showed this in my previous video. Then I got this from a subscriber. Look at that grid pattern again. Okay, Scott took this one himself in Pennsylvania. How is that possible, guys? That's square to begin with. And then if that's the sun, how is it possible to be that dark? Darker than anywhere else on this picture, right above it. How's that possible? And then again, you know, like I said, there you got your grid. I mean, he caught this one himself. That's a great capture. Man, it's a great capture. Then I did this. I put some contrast and stuff, put some filters. That may or may not be a cube or whatever over here, but just kind of looked like it. That's why I put that there. But the main thing here, guys, is, again, grid. Look at this. All right. Then look at this. This is SDO satellite. All right. This is 2017, March 22nd. No grid. All right. Something else I want to point out. These grids, a lot of times, are showing up in the blue light spectrum. I don't know why. When we see these grids, a lot of times they're blue. And I think this might have something to do with it. What do I mean by blue? Look, this came straight off of Scott's camera. This is unedited. That's blue. So it makes sense that a satellite, no grid in 2017, look at this. 2019 grid, same satellite, same tool, just exactly 2 years apart at the 335 angstrom, which is blue. Look at this. I mean, come on. Really? So yeah, guys, I mean, I don't know what else to say about this stuff. There's just a lot of stuff going on right now. I mean, look at this. Skip, if you don't have a channel, brother, you need one. But yeah, me and Jeff's gonna try to hook up a live stream. Go check it out. I'll leave links to all the videos I used today. Mr. MBB3, WSO, Scott over at planetxnews.org. Everybody's doing a great job. I mean, look at this. This is just crazy stuff. And guys, keep sending me stuff. I'll try to put it out here. I know I don't do a whole lot of videos using your guys' picks, but I do look at each and every one of them, and then I try to put them together and try to make it apply to the conversation. So that's what I try to do. But I don't ignore you guys. I think you guys know that. I normally get back with you on emails, but it takes me a while. It's getting a little harder, but it is what it is. But anyway, guys, God bless. Yeshua saves, and you can drink this Kool-Aid.